This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Opinions expressed. Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Join Terry with Tracer Rounds every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central to hear interviews with veteran artists, veteran business owners, and businesses that support veterans. Tune in to see if you're on target. Catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and MB Radio, giving veterans a voice.
Hi, welcome to Tracer Rounds. I'm your host, Terry, and this is a special show tonight. Typically, I would have a guest. Tonight, I don't have a guest. I'm going to give you election updates from the AP as they come in. Not going to be giving an opinion, just going to be giving the results on how they are and just how things are shaking out. I hope everyone had an opportunity to vote today. And those that are on the Pacific time zone and maybe even still Mountain have time to vote. So if you haven't gotten out there and voted yet, please do that. Please exercise your civic duty. Currently, the AP is reporting that Trump has 95 electoral votes and Harris has 35. And it looks like Trump has taken most of the middle to the South states. And it's looking like Harris is ahead in the eastern part of the U.S. So they're not official. None of these are official. So please don't think that I'm reporting official results. These are just what are coming in currently as polls close and as votes are tallied and counted. So right now we're showing Trump at 95 and Harris at 35. So that's the update, and we'll have more as we go along. So tonight I wanted to bring you some stories, some veteran stories from Make the Connection. It is a new program the VA has started to bring veterans a voice in different types of things that they're going through to let others know that they're not alone. So I'm going to play you the little trailer that kind of talks about Making the Connection and about the program. And then I'm actually going to play some of the veteran stories and let them tell you what was going on with them and how they found help and how they found healing. So I'm going to play this, learn more about the connection first, and then we're going to hear some veteran stories. Here we go.
If you are a veteran, family member, or friend of a veteran facing a mental health challenge, you are not alone. No matter where you are on your mental health journey, support is available. MakeTheConnection.net is an online resource that connects veterans, their family, and friends with information, resources, and solutions to mental health challenges and well-being. Hundreds of veterans have shared their stories of mental health treatment and recovery. These are stories from veterans for veterans. Hear candid accounts from veterans to learn how they recognize their mental health signs, symptoms, and conditions, and how they reached out for support.
I felt as if it was my duty to heal myself. You know, I said, if you're brave enough to serve, you're brave enough to heal.
I think the biggest gift I got from taking the risk and seeking treatment is joy.
Find a story that resonates with you in just a few clicks. Easily filter veteran stories by service era, military branch, and combat experience. Or find videos by topic, like PTSD, transitioning from service, or stress and anxiety.
I came to the realization that I was carrying all these burdens of shame and guilt of what I did in combat when I didn't have to.
If you're looking for support, MakeTheConnection.net can also connect you with mental health resources, tools, and programs online and in your community.
The mission is no longer counterterrorism. The mission's you.
There's so many more things left in life for us to do.
You have to put yourself first. You have to talk to somebody.
Every day, veterans and their family members find support and get on a path to a more fulfilling life. You can too. Visit MakeTheConnection.net to get started.
I wanted to kind of talk about how I came to know about Make the Connection. Earlier this fall, I went to a conference called the Military Influencers Conference, and I had an opportunity to meet with so many people that were providing such great services to veterans. And I have to say that it was a bit overwhelming, and I felt a little underqualified to be there, but I have to tell you that it was a very enriching experience, and that I made a connection with a lot of different veteran organizations that are doing good work. Just like MBR, they're giving veterans a voice, and that's what we're doing tonight, is giving veterans a voice here on MBR. I'm going to play I'm just going to start down the list of videos that I downloaded. You can get videos from the website, you can get audio from the website, and you can also read some stories. So whatever your format, whatever you prefer, just go to MakeTheConnection.net and you will find a story that may just resonate with you, with what you're going through, and may help you. So here's another story we're going to listen to.
I started to have a lot of trouble sleeping. I would sleep for 2-3 hours, wake up, because I just couldn't sleep through the whole night. Some nights I had, horrific nightmares.
Getting out of the war and remembering bits and pieces of it, sometimes it happens in nightmares. Wake up sweating, I have to change the shirt or change the sheets, that kind of thing.
Had a lot of trouble sleeping. Was very uncomfortable. If someone touches me when I'm asleep, I would jump up and be in attack mode.
My sleep patterns hadn't been good for the past 20 years, and they were getting increasingly worse. Sleep interruptions, night terrors, talking in my sleep, walking in my sleep.
I'd wake up and I couldn't sleep. Then I would run through my mind, could I have done this differently? You start second guessing everything you did that day.
I didn't sleep well for 6 months after my first deployment, and sometimes I think I would wake up and I would feel like my brain was still working even though I was asleep. So looking back at it now, I think, okay, maybe it's just my brain doing whatever it needed to do to sort of internalize it and then survive and then move on.
I did a combination of, I mainly did individual. I saw a psychiatrist. I was prescribed sleeping medications to help, even out my sleep.
And I went back into counseling and talked truthfully about what I did and how I felt and why I felt certain ways about things.
Just listening to other guys with the same problems, with the same thoughts, with the same issues they were dealing with. I'm saying, well, I'm not alone. There are other people that are thinking these same thoughts and have these same nightmares and night sweats.
The biggest improvement overall is now I go to sleep, which is, it sounds small to somebody else, but to be able to know that you're going to go to bed in your room and go to sleep, it's a big deal.
I'm sleeping all the way through the nights, most of the nights now. I'm not sweating as much. I'm not having night sweats as much, so it's helping me out a lot. And I really appreciate the psychologist and the psychiatrist taking time out to try to talk to me and get a handle on it.
Don't wait. 20 years is too long to go with sleepless nights. You don't have to. And there's others of us out there who've been there and done that. Don't wait. Go and get some help.
Being able to go and get help and to realistically analyze yourself and like face that within yourself is more of a strength than it is a weakness.
Welcome back to Tracer Rounds, and tonight you're going to see veteran stories. I'm just going to be playing veteran stories from Make the Connection because I really want, since this is November and it is Veterans Day coming up next Monday, if you're not aware, and the Marine Corps birthday is on Sunday too, so we got to play the Marine hymn too. But I really just want to give veterans a voice. That's really my whole goal tonight, is to give veterans a voice. And all these veterans have really opened up and really become vulnerable and really told their story and told what was going on with them and are sharing it to help others. So they're trying to show us that we're not alone, that things we go through, that others are going through it too. And so we have a shared experience where we can get help and there's hope. So just because you feel some type of way currently doesn't mean it has to always be that way. There is hope and there is help for what you're going through, and for just what's needed to make that change or that switch. And, one of our hosts, MJ, is always talking about, to flip it. Well, we just need to flip some of these emotions we're going through. We just need to turn them around and change them and make those things we're feeling a positive instead of a negative. Recently I got my retirement orders in the mail, and it really hit me. And I was like, I felt some kind of way, and I posted something, and then I had to think about it. And then I was like, you know what? That box holds some really amazing stories that no one gets to tell but me. And the Army gave me that opportunity, and I would never have them otherwise. Never. So I got to thinking how grateful I was to the Army for having me for 32 or 33 and a half years, actually, in their ranks, and allowing me to be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. So you can flip it. It can be a positive, even when it seems like it's kind of on the negative side, but there's always two sides to a coin. And so you always want to look on that other side and see what's going on. So we're going to play another clip for you. And just if you have something that you want to talk about, you can put it in the chat. And I do think I can use the phones tonight. So I'll put the phone number up real quick. And if you want to text or call in, I'm going to try. I'm not promising I'm going to be good at it because it'll be my first time. But it's 720-619-0627. 720-619-0627. And so this show is all about you, the veteran, and all about those that care about veterans and first responders too. They go through a lot of the same things the military goes through. So if you are struggling with something, I'm not an expert. I probably can't, tell you how to fix it, but I can tell you that others are going through similar, and we're going to all be okay. We're all going to pull through this together. We just need to be decided that we're going to never leave our buddy behind, and we're going to find help and hope for each other. So if you want to text or if you want to call, 720-619-0627. And now we're going to play another story. So hold on, here we go.
I saw some combat-related things on that second deployment. Opened my eyes to a lot of things. It completely changed my perspective on life. Hi, I'm Lawrence. I served in the Army from 2008 to 2015. Was an intelligence analyst. Grew up in a very patriotic family. The greater sense of purpose that the military gives you, the camaraderie, all of that is stuff I was looking for. The loss of my really good friend over there in 2012, that affected me quite a bit, and it still affects me today and every day. Survivor's guilt, that is definitely something that I've struggled with quite a bit. Losing someone who was close to me over in Afghanistan and having to come back home. I still keep in close contact with his wife and kids. Keeping that contact with her and their two kids is very important to me, so I've maintained that relationship the best I could. Getting out of the military was definitely a culture shock. I moved back here to Atlanta, and going back to school was interesting. It was hard for me to build relationships. I struggled with making friends, not having much in common. And I still struggle with anxiety, depression. I get nervous in crowded areas. I mean, sometimes loud noises can also throw me off. Some trouble sleeping. Those are most of the symptoms that I deal with. Coming out of the military, I started to identify those struggles, the anxiety, depression. I kind of reached a breaking point, and I decided to make it a priority in my life to seek mental health treatment. Group therapy was much more beneficial for me. Just being able to hear other veterans' stories and realize there are a lot of other veterans that are going through a lot of the same struggles I was going through. I'm diagnosed with PTSD through the VA and through private care as well. Breathing meditation really helps. Basically to, at certain times, know when to isolate myself, get a good understanding of like what I'm feeling internally, and then basically know how to de-escalate the anxiety and depression. Tools for that was huge for me. Going to therapy, taking the medication, going to the gym, being with friends and family, doing the things that I enjoy, my hobbies, things like that. I would say it's improved my relationships significantly. It's definitely made me a more patient person. I think that being out in nature for me personally is just very relaxing. I think it's good to walk, very therapeutic. I would say the coffee industry is very enjoyable for me as well. It's cool to have something that I enjoy also be my business. We're Terminus Coffee, and we are a small batch coffee roaster based out of Atlanta here. Roasting was just fascinating to me, the whole process of it. Be vulnerable. I think a lot of veterans struggle with vulnerability. That is the key thing with healing. I felt like it was, a good thing for me to give my time to basically tell my story, and hopefully it will impact other veterans to do the same.
Hi, welcome back to Tracer Rounds. You're on MBR, where we're giving veterans a voice. And tonight's show is all about giving veterans a voice. So I've met up with some people at the MIC. I call it Mike because it's MIC, but it's all in perspective, right? Mike. But it's a Military Influencers Conference, and it was in Atlanta. And we had such a great opportunity to meet with so many great organizations that are doing great things for veterans. And one of the VA's big pushes is to make the connection and to get veteran stories out there to share so that others can benefit from, kind of telling their stories and seeing how they help themselves and can help the others around them. And I want to give a shout out to our audience tonight. So we've got Inside the Hoosier Mind, and our MBR CEO is on tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm going to give you a quick election result, and then we're going to play the Marine Corps hymn because we're kind of on break all throughout the show because we're going to be playing veteran stories. But currently, Harris has 35 electoral votes and Trump has 95. It still looks like most of the Northeast is projected blue at this point. And then Texas just is turned projected to be red, and Oklahoma is red. We've got Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina, and Florida are all red. Georgia is projected red. We've got Kansas projected blue, Illinois blue. These are all projections. These aren't finals. So we've got Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maryland. Those are all projecting or are blue. So we're still well away from any official election results. So mind you, this is from the AP and this is what they're reporting. I'm not reporting anything that they're not reporting. So currently that's where we're at. So it's looking currently like Harris has 44.9% of the votes and Trump has 54% currently. And that's a live update. And I'll continue the live updates as we go along. I am going to play the Marine Corps hymn. My buddy, who will be back on the show pretty soon, probably early next year, Linwood King, he is going to sing you the Marine Corps hymn, his version. And I think I really like his version. Here we go.
So today, in honor of the Marine Corps birthday, I decided to wear my BCGs for y'all. Those of you who don't know, it stands for birth control glasses, Marine Corps issue. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for rights and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Our flags unfurled in every breeze, from dawn to setting sun. We are fighting every climate place where we can take a gun. In the snow of far off northern lands to the sunny tropic scenes, you will find us always on the job, United States Marines. So here's out to you, to our Corps, which we are proud to serve. Many a strife we fought for life and never lost our nerve. If the Army and the Navy were to look on heaven's scenes, they will find the streets are guarded by United States Marines. I said if the Army and the Navy were to look on heaven's scenes, they will find the streets are guarded by United States Marines. They will find the streets are guarded by United States Marines. Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah.
Welcome back to Tracer Rounds. I'm Terry, your host. Tonight's show is all about veteran stories and playing veteran artists. And that was a veteran artist. He was a former Marine. You're never a former Marine. Once a Marine, always Marine. But he's not the only one that has BCGs. They have them in the Army too. Believe me, I had to wear them. They were ridiculous. So I understand. But welcome back to the show. We are playing veteran stories from Make the Connection. And with those Make the Connection stories, they're talking about their struggles returning from war, or just their service in general. There's just sometimes you just, have an event that happens while in your service that whether it's wartime or not, that makes a difference in your life. And you need some help trying to navigate those feelings and navigate how you deal with it. So we're just going to continue to play this. I really did want to play this one clip. It's of a Vietnam veteran. And Vietnam veterans, and earlier too, I guess, we just expected people to be okay. We didn't know about PTSD. We didn't know about TBIs. We didn't know about a lot of things, the battle scars and the battle wounds that come. And so, we didn't really treat these things like we do now. And, veterans were just, meant to, toughen up and deal with it. You're fine. Don't worry about it. There wasn't really the help and hope that there is today when someone, is struggling with something like that and they need help. And veterans from the Vietnam era too really didn't get appreciated, and they didn't really understand why. They didn't, they did their duty, they did what they were called to do, and they came back and they weren't welcomed. So if you're a Vietnam veteran out there, welcome. I'm going to have a Vietnam veteran on my show pretty soon, and he happens to be my brother-in-law, and he's a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And so we're going to let him tell his story. And I'm so excited to have him. It looks like we have some comments. So let me see. Oh, so we've got John Reamer is on, and Red's on. and freedom from struggle. So we appreciate the hosts that are on, and we appreciate the other guests. And so tonight it's a little bit different format for me. I don't usually do this, but I really, since it is Veterans Day coming up on Monday, I really wanted the show to focus on veteran issues and veterans and how veterans can heal and kind of come back to somewhat, we will never be the same because of our service, but that's not always a bad thing. We'll never be the same because we've had life experiences that you're not going to get anywhere else. And some aren't so positive, but you can make something positive out of something that isn't so positive, in my opinion. Everything can come full circle to be something that really puts you in a place where you're better for it. So let me play the Vietnam veteran story. I was really moved by what he had to say. So I'm hoping you'll feel the same. Here we go.
I want my community to recognize this sacrifice. I had a protester spit on me. My anger from that point on was debilitating. Elson, U.S. Army, from 1967 to 1969. Initially, it went straight to Fort Benning, Georgia, where I took basic training, had 30-day leave, and went to Vietnam. So I was point man for my platoon, and we was taking rocket fire, which is hard to dodge. I was the radio man at that point, and I was next to my platoon leader. Helmet was tore up. M16 that I had in my hand was tore up. Had it not been for the radio on my back, I probably would have been KIA myself. But my platoon leader, part of his brain was in my face. That was the most impactful moment. It changed my whole perspective about the war, about life. My best experience, I think, in Vietnam was serving with the guys. We became brothers forever. And we looked forward to coming back to the world. We was gonna do all these amazing things. And when I came back through Fort Lewis, there was protesters everywhere. I couldn't understand them protesting against me and those of us that served. So that anger ate my life up as a young person. So being a returning wounded from Vietnam, I felt my country let me down. So I started using drugs, self-medicating, which I did for about 3 or 4 years. My first encounter with drug use was morphine when I got hit. Somebody in Vietnam introduced me to heroin. I separated myself from everybody that knew me. I probably OD'd 10, 15 times. It was a suicide journey. I robbed banks to get drug money. A twisted sense of revenge. I had life without the possibility of parole. The warden, he was actually my case manager. He was a veteran. One day I looked up, the law had changed, and this warden went up to parole board with me. And he was the reason I got out of prison. I became a different person because I felt the wrong that I had done. I was not in my right mindset. So I apologized to my family and to my country. The day I got out of prison, I went to VA. So they put me in what they call the CWT program, Comprehensive Work Therapy for Disabled Veterans. And I went through that program and they hired me. And the therapy has helped a lot because it teaches me how to do these things that I need to do for myself, even when I'm by myself. PTSD is a bad behavior disorder. You trigger it and you got bad behavior. I go talk with my therapist once a month, and that keep me from being in crisis. I learned to look at myself and accept the fact that I had a mental problem. And that mental problem could be my master, or I could master it. Peace with my PTSD. I got peace with myself. And since then, I have been working with VSO, Vietnam Veterans of America. That's my therapy. We are brothers, when one roll, all of us roll. We have a saying that all gave some, but some gave all. And I should be just as proud of what I gave. The community is there for you. You know, you need to be able to enjoy your freedom, the freedom that you serve to protect and provide for everybody else. You need to enjoy them, and you can't enjoy them if you're not taking care of your mental health. You just can't.
Hi, welcome back to Tracer Rounds. Tonight's format, like I've said, is a little different. We're doing veteran stories in honor of all the veterans from all the wars and from all the services. Even if you didn't serve in a war and you just served your country honorably, this is all for you. This is a day to kind of talk about veteran stories, veteran issues, and where there's help and hope. So I don't know if that story moved you like it moved me, but you know, it would be really hard to come back and no one appreciated what you did. You know, you sacrificed your life. You sacrificed everything you had here back home to go there and serve. And then to have someone not honor that sacrifice, that's very upsetting. So we, let's see, speaking of veterans issues, my co-host Eva and I will be welcoming veteran Brian Big Country Cornwell to the show. The show will air at a special time on 6 November 2024 at 7 Eastern. So yeah, let's put the word out. Yeah, we've heard from Big Country before, and he's got an amazing story, and it'd be great to have him back on MBR. So Red, yeah, for sure we'll share it out. Thanks for letting us know about that. And yeah, that veteran story was very moving. I have to say, I can't imagine what he went through. So I think we'll play a song real quick, and then we'll go back to some stories. Oh, let me give you an election update real quick from the AP. Let me just see what they're saying right now, see if there's anything different. Not much difference. They're still showing Harris at 35 and Trump at 95. Some more. We just had an update. So Harris at 49, Trump at 101. So we had several other states that went red. We only have currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are blue. Those are the numbers they're reporting, not me. These aren't my reports. It's from the AP, Associated Press News. So we're going to play Mr. Red, White, and Blue, because I feel like that is actually, I'm going to play Pray for Our Planet tonight, because really that's what we needed. So hang on. We're going to hear from Blue Mountain Tribe.
The land is sacred. These words are at the core of your being. The land is our mother. The rivers are blood. Take our land away and we die. That is, the Indian in us dies. Mary Bravebird, Lakota.
Pray for our planet. Something's going wrong. Pray for our planet. Something's going wrong. Coal mines, compromise, dripping the skin. The killing of the nature is a terrible sin. Pray for our planet. Something's going wrong. Plagues and disease, violence everywhere. They're killing all the nature and nobody cares. Anger and hatred, all they want to do is fight. I pray to the Father on this sacred side. It's gonna be alright. Get some tobacco, grab your safe, paint your pony, paint your face, raise your feather at a sacred place. Mother Earth is dying, it's a damn disgrace.
of our sacred sites. Let's pray together and tell the world no more hatred and no more lies. Your skin color, race, religion, other people's opinion will not divide us. Will not divide us.
Welcome back to MBR and Tracer Rounds, where we're giving veterans a voice. And tonight's all about veteran voices. That was Robin Hairston and his Blue Mountain Tribe band, and they're a blues band, and I had him on the show, and you need to go back and watch that episode. He's a Marine and National Guard, Army National Guard. He has quite an interesting story, and so I challenge you to go find that episode and watch it. We are listening to veteran stories from Make the Connection, and I have to tell you, they're pretty moving, and I feel like they're going to do somebody some good tonight. I feel like we're going to reach somebody, and it's going to resonate with them and make a difference. I'm going to give you a quick update. There is a big update with the election. It's showing that Harris is at 71 electoral votes, and Trump is currently at 101. So it's saying that Harris has 45.3% of the votes, and it's saying that Trump has 53.6% of the votes. Obviously, we don't have all the reporting states in yet because polls have not closed on the Pacific side of the U.S. So we are still very in flux with all these numbers. But I just wanted to give you the latest update. And this is from the AP. This is where I'm getting my news. So if anybody wants to follow the AP, that's where it's coming from. We're going to listen to an Army general who talks about his bipolar. I was really moved that he came forward with an interview, because being in a position that he was, that had to be really hard. He had to really humble himself to really give this interview and really talk candidly about his mental health. So I really hope you feel how powerful this is for him to, talk about it. Here we go.
I was born unknowingly with what they call a bipolar brain, completely unknown to me or to the Army or to anybody, which gave me tremendous energy, drive, enthusiasm. If people had known what they were seeing, they would have said, there may be something going on with this guy. Hello, I'm Greg. I served in the U.S. Army from 1975 to 2015, and my branch was engineers. Once I graduated from West Point in 79, I went to Army Ranger School, and then I did all the jobs that you do as an Army officer, and then I ended up making 1-star and 2-star general. In 2003, I had a triggering event, the Iraq War, and it sent me into mania. But it was a high-performing mania in which I performed better than I ever had in my life. I felt like Superman, bulletproof, didn't need sleep. After being manic for almost a year, I fell into terrible depression. I went to the doctor during the mental health screening and said, hey, there's something wrong with me. And the doctors evaluated me and they said, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. And they couldn't see past my success, high-ranking officer. 11 years after the Iraq War, I went into full-blown mania. I had paranoid delusions that people were out to get me. They were spying on me. They wanted to see me arrested, put in jail, tortured, murdered in prison. But when I would dip into depression, it would be the opposite. And all I wanted to do was to die. I ended up getting removed from command, which is a nice way to say I was fired, forced to retire, and then later hospitalized. And I, on my own, went back to the same doctors and said, hey, doctor, there's something really, really wrong with me. And this time my wife came and she said, you know, he was manic before and now he's depressed. They connected the dots and they said, oh, mania, depression, bipolar disorder. I am not going to be stigmatized, embarrassed, ashamed. A battle buddy from the Army and my wife got me into a very good VA hospital in White River Junction, Vermont. And it was tremendous treatment, medication, therapy, electroconvulsive therapy. So I actually spent 6 weeks living in the VA hospital. It stabilized me. It kept me from getting worse, but it didn't make me better. I didn't get better until a few months later when they prescribed lithium. Once I started taking lithium, within about 3 or 4 days, my symptoms vanished. They went away, and I came back to life with energy, enthusiasm, interest. So what my therapist, I think the most valuable thing she has done for me is to help me figure out what are the triggers. And think in a military setting, you have minefields. And what the military does is it tries to figure out where are the minefields, and you put like a fence around them. So what I figured out how to do was to say, this is a trigger, this subject, this event, this location, and I don't go there. I'm good about getting exercise and working out, going to the gym, going out for walks, things like that. I've got friends who are terrific. I've told all of them that I have bipolar disorder, and here's the symptoms of mania and depression. And I said, hey, when you see me going into either the mania or the depression, please come talk to me. Tell me that you're seeing these symptoms. If you have a mental health issue and you don't get help, you're looking at a path of destruction. Anything I can do to take my near-death experience, where I wanted to die every day for 2 years, and transform it into a plus, an inspiration for others, then that's what I do.
Welcome back to Tracer Rounds. You're on MBR, where we're giving veterans a voice. And yes, I saw your comment, Red. That song we played just before that is so appropriate. You know, Pray for Our Planet. That's really where we're at today. And Red, I have to give you a shout out for the prayer you did earlier today that you sent out to us. I wish I would have downloaded it already so I could play it, but maybe on another show. But I just have to say again how incredibly brave that was for that general to admit that he had bipolar and to come across and say, I'm not ashamed. I mean, it's something I'm born with. I can't help it. And, he had no shame in it. And, it's really interesting to say how he was high performing on the battlefield with his bipolar. Like it really made him more involved, engaged, and it really, produced the results, I guess, that the Army was looking for. But then in turn, it gave him trouble. But I want to play another one. It's about PTSD recovery. And so we'll play that and then we'll come back and we won't have much more time. I wish I had more time to play more of these videos, but I think they will resonate with someone and they should make a difference in how people are seeing themselves and some of the things they're going through. So I hope you'll join me in, going to the site often, make the connection, and just listening to veteran stories and hearing what's going on with people and just learning how to help others and how to direct them to people and resources where they can get the help and the hope they need. So we'll play, it starts with Just Do It.
I could not be around a lot of people and didn't know why. I didn't think that it was attributed to the military, and I didn't even want to own up to the fact that it was that. My name's Kenneth. I was in the United States Army. I served during the years of 2000 to 2010. My enlisted MOS specialty was 13 Bravo Field Artillery cannon crew member, And my warrant officer, MOS, was Field Artillery Targeting Technician, Operational Electronic Warfare. So when I graduated high school, my high school girlfriend, she became pregnant and I had to make a decision. So we said, hey, I'm gonna join the military. So I joined the US Army on November 13th of 2000. We did Operation Desert Spring, which is the ending of the 1991 Desert Storm War. I was honorably medically discharged on August 26, 2010. It was about 6 months of just figuring things out. So January of 2011 is when I officially signed up and started my first class with Baruch College under the City University of New York for corporate communications. I realized all of my symptoms really excited itself sitting in those classrooms, but it was just so many symptoms and factors that were showing itself that pointed to go seek out a little bit more mental health than you're doing right now. Counseling psychology was definitely the way to go, along with trying to maintain my college experience, along with family issues that were arising exponentially, and I just couldn't put so many hands on the geysers that were just popping up in life. I had to dig into what I've gone through growing up, physical abuse, verbal abuse from my brother's father, who was my stepfather, living in broken homes due to my parents being divorced, the physical abuse that I've watched them do to each other. I was a functioning alcoholic. I had to just seriously stop drinking, and I did. My diagnosis was post-traumatic stress disorder with mild dysthymia, and then they upgraded it to post-traumatic stress disorder with extensive cannabis use disorder. Well, this particular program in Montrose and Peekskill, it was called the Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Trauma Intensive Residential Treatment. Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, going to different field activities. We always had to sign out of the hospital just to go into the parking lot. So we would look on a schedule and maybe would have a field trip, and most of us would just go just to get out of the hospital. We noticed you were out in the pond, kind of staring off into the clouds. And it seems like you like to meditate. So have you considered meditating? And then I really realized meditation, it's a great thing. But I'm also inclined as well. I'm definitely highly inclined. I love to read. I'm a speed reader. I sit in a sauna and read. Spending time with my children. My oldest is 24. She just graduated from Radford University for a psychology degree. And what made me proud is the fact that she changed her degree because she wanted to understand her father better. All of the programs that I went through, she didn't realize how much positive reinforcement she was giving me. So the way I think about it is just use all the benefits. I think it's real important to just force yourself to be active. If you wake up and you start to think about things that are bothering you, it's going to engulf your day. Go on those nature runs. That's what I do. I go do a nature cross-country run, and I end up asking myself questions about things that I'm going through. And by the time I finish my run and I feel the runner's high, I got those answers. And then I just go and do it. Just go do it.
Welcome back to MBR, where we're giving veterans a voice. The show is Tracer Rounds, and usually I have a guest and we're talking about a business, or we're talking about music, or we're talking about something like that. Tonight and today we are talking about veterans. It's all about veterans and veteran voices. All of these veteran stories I've been playing are from Make the Connection, which is an organization that is partnered or is a branch off of the VA. To tell the story of the veteran. So I encourage you to go to maketheconnection.net and look at the stories. There's stuff to read, there's stuff to listen to, there's videos to watch. They are very moving and very powerful. You know, you finally find that you're not alone. You know, in this veteran video we just watched, he said he goes out for a run. I love to run too, and it does help me think. You know, I still sing cadence in my head when I'm running, you know, left, left, you know, like I have all the cadence going too to keep me going and focused. But I also, if you have outdoor activities that you do, that it does the same thing. I go and clean the barn for my horses, and it does the same thing. I can solve all the world's problems with 2 or 3 hours in the barn. So I think that physical activity, that working, that moving, that getting outdoors, that breathing in the fresh air, or just breathing in nature in general, is healing and is hope and is help. So I hope that you found some hope and help in some of these stories tonight. I hope that you can learn something, you can help somebody else learn something, that you can help bridge some kind of gap for somebody. We don't want to leave anyone behind. Veterans and having battle buddies is all about taking care of one another, and that's what we do here at MBR, and that's what we do as a veteran community. We pull each other up, we give each other a hand, and we give them a leg up, and we keep them moving because we don't want to leave anyone behind. So I hope tonight that you heard something that made you stop and think, and that gave you a moment to go, yeah, you know, that's me too. And maybe I can fix that. Maybe there is something I can do. And I want to thank everyone who is tuned in tonight. And I do want to give another election update. So I don't think we're really much different than we were the last time, but I'm going to give you one anyway. Let's see. We still are at 71 Harris and 101 Trump. We obviously don't have the Western U.S. reporting at all. There's no projections or anything except for North Dakota's projected Trump at this point is showing that he's leading. He's leading in Maine, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, Ohio, and Texas. And Harris is leading in Kansas, Missouri, Michigan, Pennsylvania currently, and New Hampshire. There's only a couple that are calling the race for somebody or other in their state. So we've got Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland reporting, and Illinois reporting for Harris. And we have Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina, and Florida all reporting for Trump at this point. So that is according to the AP. So if you're wanting to watch election results, that's where I'm watching. We've only got like 5 minutes here. I only got to play a couple of songs, and that's unfortunate. But I do want to just tell everybody how important it is that we teach the next generation of up-and-coming soldiers, airmen, Marines, sailors, the importance of voting. We need to show them that it's their right and it's their obligation to be a part of who is electing their boss. We're electing the commander-in-chief tonight. Yeah. So if that doesn't resonate with you, it should. So that's one of the reasons why we really should vote, is we're electing the commander-in-chief. Who do we want to flex that military muscle? Who do we want to, lead us? Because this is the leader. This is the commander-in-chief. And we need to let our troops know how important it is that their vote matters and that they should vote no matter who they're voting for. We just need to let them know that they need to exercise their right to vote and do their civic duty as a U.S. Citizen, a citizen of the U.S., and as a member of the armed forces. I can't think of a more solemn and important duty besides defending the country. Deciding who is the next president is just about as solemn a duty as you can put on someone. So be sure that you're encouraging your kids and your families to vote, whichever way they want to vote. I don't have any opinion for you to, I'm not going to tell you to vote for, but I am going to tell you to get out and vote. So those that are on the Pacific Coast, they still have time to vote. So get out there and vote. and tell the next generation the importance of voting, and tell them if they're in the service, that they're electing their boss. Who doesn't want to choose their boss? I do. So vote. Let's see, we got a comment. Let's see. Freedom from Struggle. Thanks for commenting, Red. He has a big show tomorrow night that's coming on at 7 Central, I think. Is that what you were telling me, Red? Let's see. Let me put it back up there real quick before we have to get off the air. So Veterans Issues co-host, Welcoming Big Country. Yes. So 7 Eastern. So it would be 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and 4 Pacific. So tune in to that special show. Big Country is a really good interview, and he is amazing. So tune in for that. With that, I don't have any more time to play any more songs or any more videos because they're all too long. But I think you get the point. This is the month that we should be celebrating those who served and telling their stories. And so these stories I'm telling tonight are of healing and of hope, that there's hope for us out there, that, we don't have to suffer in silence, that we can together make a difference in the veteran community and for each other and for others around us. Because, we have a sphere of influence, so let's use it for good. So this is Tracer Rounds, and I'm signing off for tonight. Let me give you one last update before I sign off. I lied. I'm not going to let you go just yet. Hold on. So it's still the same. We've got 71, 101. So Harris 71 and Trump 101. And so that is your final update from me tonight. So I want to thank you for joining me, and I thank you for allowing me to have a different type of show this tonight. And next week I'll have a guest, but tonight is all about veterans. So this is MBR giving veterans a voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.